Hey everybody, how you guys doing today?
Dope.
I am doing absolutely great.
I just want to welcome everybody because I think this is going to be a great segment today.
Yes. I'm excited about it
We
myself.
have we have three great people in here today, but two, I'm so happy to be able to host this podcast today with Brandon Scott and Jason Davis. So I just wanted to welcome you guys in and see how you're doing today.
Dope. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us. I'm doing great.
I wanted to talk to you guys today and ask you a question. How did you and Brandon, you and Jason come to meet one another? Like, were you already friends with him for a long time, or did he find you like he found me?
Well, we kind of found each other. I mean, I was just a peon working at a hardware store, and he
Peon.
was running a construction company at the time. And the first time I saw him, I was he to me he had this kind of a aura around him, and he had like 11 guys, but he had a gang of people in there, and they all just ran into the store, and I was like, "What's going on?" Oh, that's just Jason. These guys are gonna go grab the stuff, and he's gonna chill here and talk to us, and they're gonna grab the stuff, and he's gonna pay for it, and they're gonna leave. And I was like, I'm gonna be this guy's friend. I thought to myself. So after a while, man, I wasn't happy with my life at all, and I saw him doing what he was doing, so I just asked him one day. He was out on one of the job sites. You think it possible that I could do the same thing? I mean, I don't really necessarily want to get into construction, but I want to do something. He was like, yeah, without a doubt, man. Like, I'll be down there to help you any part you need, man. I was like, all right, cool. So, I mean, we just kind of left it at that for a while. But I started my research at that point, man. I had to figure out what I could do every day without getting paid and still enjoy myself, because I think that's going to be the success to anyone's life. I went to a kid's birthday party, one of my, like the neighborhood kids' birthday parties, like one of Jason's Colin's friends' birthday parties or whatever, and guy had a game trailer.
Oh, wow.
And I immediately knew I had to have one. And after I found the right trailer, I called Jason. This is like, I don't know, a few weeks later. I was like, hey, man, I got the money and I know where the trailer is. I just don't have a truck to go get it. He was like, let's go tomorrow. And I was like,
Yep.
he called me right there. And I was like, oh, man, this is really happening.
Right, he wasn't just a talker, he was a doer.
Yeah, and
I am
so
definitely the dude.
he had like crews of guys running around. He had multiple job sites doing, but he still had it in him to help someone else. You know what I mean? So I could never think enough to get me on the track that I am on. And so he started teaching me about the like. I had no idea he had like the idea of my social energy at this point, man. I just knew he was a cool guy, and I knew he knew what he was doing in his business. So I figured I could learn from him. So I was like, all right, let's go, let's do it. So I'm still working in the hardware store, and so at this point, well, I got injured, and so I had a lot of time off work. And I mean, I hurt my back, but it wasn't that bad, but it was bad enough for me not to go to work and still get paid. So I mean, I used that time to learn and grow and build, and so we built that game trailer. And I mean, I used a whole bunch of materials I was like people had returned to the hardware store. I mean, I used every little resource to my ability, like returned hardware floors. I mixed and matched and did everything. I mean, the whole thing was really cool. Like I just used everything at my disposal to make that thing come to life. And Jason, he helped me build it, like with his own hands and his own tools and stuff. So it was just really dope how he helped me out with that. And then we hit the ground running. I started doing game trailer shows and all that kind of stuff. But unfortunately, I didn't run the business well enough to survive COVID or anything like that. So that no longer exists. But
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say that. I would just say that right now you are under construction.
I know that's right.
I can respect that.
I know that's right.
Definitely.
You're not, you know, I wouldn't say that, Brandon, because I think just by you telling me what you accomplished, you and Jason, with this gaming that you like are really passionate about, I'm envisioning you two in this, you know, building this trailer. And I just think that is so awesome because I feel like that is a great thing to role model for these kids today too. You know,
Exactly.
Like, but there was a lot of reciprocity in our relationship. So, like, before, like, we did all this stuff, like, I was helping him with his crews, like,
right.
like back and forth. Like, I'm going to the job sites, I'm helping him out, I'm wiring stuff up, I'm doing my thing, I'm helping him legitimately, and he's helping me. Like,
it's like you guys are soulmates.
What Brandon is describing, what we are doing right now, is my social energy. Nobody founded it. Like this was gifted. This is energy. And that energy has the ability to help anybody build who has a mindset to build. And and it's available for everybody. That's the cool part of what we are accomplishing right now, is that like literally this energy is going to be available on a mass scale, and it's going to be perpetuated through these conversations and many other channels. So yeah.
So I'm going to change the soulmate, right, and turn it into energy mate.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Well, that is a soulmate, energy mate, soulmate.
Right, but we are exactly, but you know, to put it in a different way, we've all became energy mates.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Synergy now, it is.
Yes,
Like,
synergy. Synergy. Great way of putting it. I think it's I think what you're doing, Brandon and Jason, I mean I'm amazed, and I'm so honored and glad to be a part of this. Like, you have no idea how long I have been praying for this day. For maybe about 4 or 5 years, I've wanted to go out and be a part of helping in the world some way, somehow, whether it be with my food, whether it be with my poetry, with my mental health advocating, some way, somehow. I knew I was going to achieve this. I was just waiting for my wish to come true, for someone else to come along and believe in me and know that I do have that capability of becoming all these things that I just said. And when you came into my inbox, of course, my first thing was, here we go again. You know what I mean? Like, is this another person just trying to get money out of you, or just try to say you have something, you know, when they don't really think you do, or they don't care? To say is, I got on TikTok one morning for a reason, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
And I already had my guides giving me messages. But the last thing was for me to make that final decision of when I got up that morning to pick up that electronic and click the buttons.
Definitely.
You know?
Definitely.
And that was a big step for me.
You know, I don't pull a person like you in. It's like we connect because that energy is already, it's already,
there.
Magnetized. Yeah, it's already there.
That was one of the questions I was going to ask you, actually, was like, how did you, out of all the people that you watch on those videos on TikTok or YouTube or whatever social media you have, what was the decision that made you say, hey, I think that she has potential, I think she has assets? What made you want to reach out to me?
I really believe that it's not a matter of my choice, or my part in making choices for how things evolve with my social energy is very pursuant to the needs of people. when you can share someone's relative space to trauma, because everybody, that's like, you know, it's almost like death. Trauma is something that we all experience. And, you know, it may be very temporary in our life, but what I realize happens is like often even after the trauma is over, we still like feel the pain. We don't feel it no more, but we remember how it felt. And so hey, you just remind me of so many of those elements that, you know, that I want to reach people with, and the commitment that you have to it daily is important. I commit to, you know, to being socially active to motivate my social energy every day. Like it's something I wake up for it. And so, you know, when I think about other people, I think about people who are like daily, like putting in that work, putting in that energy so that people can be motivated on a daily basis. So to me, it takes for a person like yourself, a person like Brandon, to be magnetized to an energy that is pursuant to wealth and
happiness.
And happiness, yeah. Well, you know, when I say wealth, like you can believe that I'm talking about happiness.
Oh yeah, of course.
I only have one perception of wealth, and to me, it's the knowledge of the fact that everything in my life can be an asset, and just, you know, because I know that everything in my life can be an asset, I really seek to make sure that everything in my life is an asset and not a liability.
That's great. That's so awesome. I'm so happy that you two came into my life. It's a great feeling to wake up every morning and, you know, you wake up every morning like, yeah, you have dreams, you have aspirations, you have things that you wish for and you want in your life to better it. But it's another thing to actually feel it.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that.
All right, do you guys have any questions? I might have an answer. You know, everybody can have the same diagnosis, but not everybody has the same effects, side effects, symptoms. Even though we've all, like, if you've had PTSD or if I had PTSD, it's PTSD, but there's like there's different levels to it, you know? And sometimes I wonder, like, how can I wake up in the morning and I'm okay and I feel like nothing's ever happened and I'm just going about my day, and then within maybe the next hour or even the next day, my brain totally shifts and I have the total opposite, you know, reaction. And I have to give myself credit when I get up every day, because I have been through so much stuff that people would never even think could happen. But I feel like I want to be here because I want others to know that no matter how much shit you go through, how much crap you take every day or whatever, you are still a person. You are still deserving. And somebody else out there will end up deserving you too. Like, you need to be deserved.
No, that's dope.
We all have so many talents and gifts to give. And it's sad that you have other people in this world that are so sick-minded and they're so miserable and they hate to see somebody else helping themselves and getting up and doing what makes them happy. It's like you could have the same thing, you know?
No, definitely. I'm a conjugative thinker, and so in a lot of what I deal with on a day-to-day basis, I deal with it from, a lot of logic perspective versus feeling perspective. And what I realize is PTSD is something that people deal with on a day-to-day basis from an emotional perspective. And being able to even open up my perspective to the emotional perspective of thinking versus just the cognitive or the logical paths of thinking, or bridging those together so that people get a better idea of how to act when they're feeling a certain way, is definitely going to be a plus for this podcast segment.
Yes. There's like 5 different types of PTSD, right? And I have CPTSD, which is complex PTSD. And basically what that means is that I have been traumatized since I was a child, or I've had repeated trauma. Then you have other types of PTSD where just PTSD in itself is, experiencing a trauma, whether it be a car accident or, getting robbed or even drowning, even if you've almost drowned, that's traumatic to somebody.
Exactly.
And some people will heal within months. Maybe not 100%, but maybe 90%,
Exactly.
And then there's other people that from one experience that has ruined their whole entire life. This is what I mean by everybody experiences things so differently that when you put it in a textbook, it's not textbook. Nobody is a textbook when it comes to mental health.
That's big. That's big. While there's so many systems where it does make sense to set boundaries for how you deal with, some given thing, I agree that mental health is just not that area where, where it's like one size fits all.
And you don't only just have emotional flashbacks with PTSD, but you have physical flashbacks as well. And a lot of people don't know that. Even the people that have PTSD, I know for myself, for a long time, I called them episodes, and I would have PTSD episodes. And basically a PTSD episode, physical, mimics like you're having a stroke or you have MS. So that's the other thing. When you have illnesses, some illnesses mimic another illness. So it's trial and error trying to figure out what's going on, So for like a whole month, it was like I was having a stroke. My whole side of my body went totally numb. I mean, my tongue, my eyes, everything. I couldn't speak. I really couldn't walk well. I was getting lost in places I've never been lost before, that I've been 100 times. And then I would get to places and I don't even know how the hell I got there. So it's scary. Yeah. It's scary when you go into an episode and you don't realize that you're going into an episode, because you could actually have a whole nother life going on. It's like you become another person. It's really important to educate and show awareness, because I feel like PTSD is just like having another debilitating illness. We go to doctors and we seek therapy and we take medications, not all the time, not everybody, but it's basically like if you had heart problems or if you have diabetes, and it's something that you have to take care of.
You mentioned that, drowning is an event that a person could develop a post-traumatic stress disorder from. We all, at some point, become submerged with problems, with issues, with, substance abuses, with relationship abuse, with verbal abuse, with so many things. But we all like become drowned in that to a sense, and so uh, you know, I vibe with the fact that we probably all at some point have come in contact with a post traumatic or with an event that could give us
Yes.
PTSD.
Yes.
The other thing that I was thinking out loud is that so often people in during these experiences, again, like pain, when pain show up in our lives, it show up in so many different ways. It show up to so many different people so differently. Sometimes it's like you got hit with a baseball bat, and or somebody punched you in your testicles, somebody punched you in your gut. Like, pain could hit you in so many different ways.
That's
And
why I was telling you about the physical flashbacks.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly like when I was having my episode. Like I said, when you have an episode, it could last for a couple minutes, hours to months, even years for some people. But mine, the one time, lasted for like a whole month. And my blood pressure was like 165 over 210. It totally affected my whole entire body. So when you talk about being punched in the face or, those kinds of things, it's like, that's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is.
Because of the intensity of the pain, often what ends up happening is, you know, we could we could we could take some substance, or we could have some substance, something that shifts, something that changes in our life that could really absorb the intensity of the pain. I mean, it could be that you go get some ice. It could be, you go lay down. It could be you get out of a bad relationship. It could be that you walk away from a bad job, that you cancel a membership. Whatever you have to do, you can find substance for pain. However, what is so often still like the most painful part is the memory of it, because the memory, I feel like, keeps us from enjoying the placebo effect that the mind is supposed to have, like this healing effect that the mind is supposed to have, that we're supposed to be open to. And I just feel like we can get so trapped off because of, not even that we have the physical pain present anymore, but we just remember the intensity of what happened.
Yep. That's like I used to say, sometimes I'd rather get beat up physically than mentally, because those scars aren't easy to heal. Brandon, what do you think about that? What do you think about finding substance for pain?
Well, what I've always done to deal with pain or stress, well, when I was young, before video games became what they were to me, I taught myself origami. I dove into books when I was a kid, and that was the escape I used. And so even to this day, when I'm upset or stressed or have something that I have a hard time dealing with, I'll just go do some origami. I'll calm down. It's like a little meditation, if you will.
Yeah, it's called a coping skill.
Yeah, you just got to deal with it whatever way you can without effing somebody up, because my whole life I've been bigger and stronger than most people. And so when I lose my temper, somebody could potentially be hurt. So I don't have that luxury in life to just let loose and let my emotions control me. I've always kept my composure, because that's a virtue, I believe.
There's good substances and bad substances to help cope, using for coping skills for your pain. Like people who self-harm, their positive coping skill is to get tattoos. That's a healthy way of self-harming yourself, if anybody didn't know that.
I only have one tattoo, and I didn't know that was a thing for that. But I do know some people have self-harmed in the past, and well, I don't know. It gives them some type of relief, and
yes.
Well, I don't understand that concept myself, but all I can do is hoping for the best and hope they don't go more extreme.
Yeah, I learned that. I learned that a long time ago. That it's actually a healthy. Not saying that everybody goes to get a tattoo because they want to self-harm themselves, but people who do have that issue with self-harming with other things, they end up, it's like you said, Jason, about substances. They took a bad substance and turned it into a good one as a coping skill and used it to get tattoos.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing about pain is that, I find it important to, to be present with perspective that, can help even people in pain or not, that can help them like see logic and see conjugative solutions before like before they bleed everywhere. Because hey, look, the reality is, again, like it's gonna burst, like it's gonna flow over. And it's just like when that happens, like, and all that negativity like spill out into the atmosphere, is there enough positive energy there to absorb it? We no different than an automobile the way we moving in this universe. Like, the only reason that we are moving, the only reason that we are having any success is because of the negative and the positive. Without both sources, like there's no genuine like need or cause for the other. So and
it helps to balance things out.
100%. I mean, well,
yeah.
It helps to give us the perception of one or the other, and it helps us to then be able to choose one or the other. So,
hey, Brandon, I wanted to know a little bit more about your video game. Like, do you also use that for like a coping skill, like you do with your working out and everything?
Actually, video games is my biggest coping skill, but it's also a double-edged sword because you can lose yourself in it. So you gotta, like, I don't play sports games. I don't play Call of Duty. I don't play all the popular things. I mean, I play games that it requires skill and time and effort. I mean, I don't like playing easy games. I like playing games that are very challenging and tough. Like, life is hard. Life is hard for everybody. It's not going to be easy. Everybody gets little bits of euphoria. Everybody gets little bits of happiness, but everybody has a giant shit sandwich to eat. And I think everybody needs to understand that and just start dealing with it a little bit better, because we all got to deal with it. So since we all have to deal with it, I think we should have a little bit more, I don't know what's the word, compassion for other people's blights and situations in their lives. Like, you gotta, within reason though. I mean, I'm not gonna put up with anybody's shit just because they're having a bad day or they've had a bad life. I understand you had a situation, you had a bad thing. I didn't have nothing to do with that. You want to talk about it, we can talk about it. You want me to listen? I can listen. Like, you want a solution? I can listen. I can give you a solution to the best of my abilities. But what I'm not gonna do is put up with some abuse just because you're having a bad time with it. Like, I understand your feelings, but my feelings in my life are number one. So that's what I got to take care of.
Well, you've already said you don't care about the other.
No, there's a caveat to that. I mean, I care about people's feelings, just not enough to make my feelings worse.
Right. Like, I care that you have feelings, but I don't at the same time.
Yeah, I'm never going to let you make me feel bad just because you're having a bad day.
Right.
I'd rather you continue to have a bad day than make me have a bad day. You better deal with that. Like, I do everything in my power to not give negative energy to anybody else. I will sit there and take the abuse from you, and I won't dish it back out just because it's a waste of freaking time. I don't want to dole out that energy. I'm gonna deal with it to the best way I can. I'm gonna do some origami. I'm gonna play some video games. I'm gonna just let it sit, and I'm gonna just deal with it the best way I can. But spewing that hatred back out is, to me, quite possibly one of the worst things anybody on this planet can do.
Yep, I agree with that. Totally agree with that. Because I feel like the more, whether it's positive energy or negative energy, the more you're around one or the other, you do start to attract those types of energies that aren't cool, those negative energies. And I'm like that too. I don't want to be, I don't mind trying to help you figure out, if you need something or whatever, but I don't want that abuse put on me either. It's like, I've already been through enough of that. You know what I mean? Like, let's try to work together and see what we can come up with. Because I feel like if you're not going to be part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And I just can't be around the part of the problem anymore.
Nah, that's hey, I tell people a lot that success, the journey is not about for you, it's not about where you end up. For you, it's only about taking steps. Where you end up is totally dependent on who directed the steps you took. You're gonna take some steps. You're gonna take some steps regardless. The key is who directed the steps. And
right.
And I mean, self-direction, I mean, I'm not speaking against, like, self-made, self anything. Like, you have it within yourself, then do it yourself. However, what I also know is that in the end of success, you're gonna give credit to something bigger than you that got you there. Otherwise, you sort of lose the drive that it takes to even want to be successful. Yeah.
I really like that analogy that you just put together. And the whole thing about, saying I'm going to need some lifeguards at the swimming pool of my social energy.
Yes.
It just brought me back to it goes along the same thing of riding the wave,
Yes.
How everything is sinking.
Yeah.
In the puzzle pieces are coming together, and soon we're going to have a puzzle, the first puzzle to be completed. And I think that's awesome.
Nah, definitely. A lot of building in this circle.
Yeah. So when you get the opportunity again, Brandon, because it's going to be a when, not an if. Are you going to do the same thing, like have the mobile gaming system to go around and
Well,
I think that's so great. Like that's a really cool idea.
Love the idea, love the concept. I won't be doing it personally, but I could see myself funding that project again, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just at least being a part of it, though.
I definitely feel
I enjoyed it thoroughly. That doing the job in and of itself was my favorite part of that. Like when I was out there playing the games, at the parties and the events, doing the team building exercising and teaching kids about their vocabulary, just simple words, if, can't, trying, and but.
Mm-hmm.
Eliminate those, man. You can change your life. Very simply, just by the words you tell yourself, just because there's no doubt in it. So it was enjoyable. I enjoyed working with all those people.
You know what else is great about the three of us is I'd love to hear what our next conversation is going to be about. I think Brandon should come up with the question this time.
Oh Lord.
So, would you like to host, Brandon? Would you like to host an episode over here? Huh?
No, but we shall see what the future holds.
We'll let you do the evening shift.
I gotcha.
Since you have that nice quiet storm voice.
Hey, before y'all go, I got this story, man. It was hilarious. I took a ride to the city a little while ago, And I took Milo with me. I take my dog everywhere.
Oh, is this the funny story you were going to tell us?
I mean, I don't know how funny it was, but like, it's just the reality of how my life go. But so anyway, I wasn't even going to go. I went by my nephew's house, and I wasn't even going to go anywhere but there and back home. And I was definitely going straight there because like I'm 40 years old, man, and like so the bathroom to me is a cup. The potty is a bathroom. Like the potty is where kids go. Like people who 40, they go anywhere when it's time. Anyway, I was in the car. I was on my way to my nephew's house, and he asked me could I stop at Dunkin' Donuts to get him a coffee. And so I said okay, even though I really had to use the bathroom. And then like I got to Dunkin' Donuts, I realized that they don't have the inside open, so I just jumped in the drive-through line. And so because I was in the drive-through line, I let the window down so that Milo could put his head out the window on the driver's side. And so I'm in the line. The line is like, I mean, it's like 5 cars at this point, you know. And so, you know, in an old coffee cup, I just knew that I had time to pee real quick, you know. And so I decided I ordered the coffee, and I decided to pee while I go around to the window. I'm pretty good at this, man. So
sounds like it.
I get 3 cars away, and Milo's hanging out the window. I'm raised back in my seat, getting a piss out in the cup, and a group of ladies come out of the Dunkin' Donuts. And the first thing they do is see Milo and go crazy. And so now I'm peeing, Milo's out the window, and I got a group of ladies at my back window, like actually rubbing my dog's head. So like, in this whole time, like now, like I'm like pinching because I can't pee no more. I had to cover myself with the coat. I'm pinching. They like having fun. I'm hee hee ha, like, okay, bye, see you. And no joke, like while that happened, the window cleared out. And so it's my turn to pull to the window, and I still didn't finish peeing yet. So I get to the window, and you guys should see me like I got a left and a right hand, and I'm using my right hand to reach over to reach the lady to give her my card, to get my stuff. Like the whole time, like I know she was like, "Did this guy have a stroke or something? Can he not use the right hand?" Like, so I had to do all of that and then go and pull in a spot to finish peeing. Like all of that happened. Like it was like the craziest experience ever. Like no, it was not funny.
What you're saying is you really had to strategize today.
That took a heck of a strategy to pull off. Like
It's intense.
Yeah, it was really intense set of events, man. Like it all happened.
What's even more intense is he said it on the podcast. Take us out.
All right, pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. And we will get with you guys a little bit later. We're signing out. Brandon out, Jason, and the Savage Sicilian. Peace.
Badass podcast. Y'all better check it out.